Was she that little girl on the show, that Disney show? She turned into that?
Yes, it's sad. It was unwatchable. It was terrible. And I think this is what we call the hoochie card.
Somebody has to tell Miley Cyrus, it's not an achievement when people are looking at your 20-year-old body, because at 20, you were supposed to have a great body. It is not an achievement to be hot.
No one cares about the man behind the booty.
Right.
You only care about the one that's shaking it.
But
double standard.
I think she knows what she's doing.
Here's the thing, I feel like it's a bit desperate.
If you could have people talking about your performance for 3 weeks after you did it, you would.
I'm not gonna do Hannah Montana, but I can give you an update on what she's been up to. She was murdered.
Hey girl.
I came up in this party, time to twerk.
Twerk it, twerk
I
it.
came up in this party and I'm turned.
Turn up, turn up, turn up.
Came up in this party, time to twerk.
Miley Cyrus. Twerk it, twerk it. Twerk it, twerk it. Twerk it, twerk
I
it.
do feel sorry for Miley.
What do you think?
I don't feel sorry for Miley Cyrus because she knew what she was doing. This was all very calculated, and this is about Miley Cyrus distancing herself from Hannah Montana and Disney.
I thought I'd seen it all.
She's become one of the most polarizing public figures in the country.
She has redefined everything that you thought Miley Cyrus was.
These I swear, they tried to kill your favorite bitch! They tried to kill me! I'm not going down without a fight!
She has risen to a whole new level.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Shelby. Welcome to Deep Dive.
In the previous 2 episodes of the Disney Channel Machine, we dove deep into just how Miley Cyrus was transformed from a child into the most overworked Disney Channel star of all time.
And just how the media hounded, criticized, and catastrophized every move Miley made on her way out from Hannah Montana.
In this episode of the Disney Channel Machine, we are diving into what is arguably the most iconic Miley Cyrus era of all time.
Bangerz. How she had to completely demolish the Hannah Montana image the world still imposed on her.
And just how Miley took the power of her image back into her own hands.
The world had made Miley an exceptional role model out to be a monster, when that couldn't have been further from the truth.
However, no one calculated the gravity at which Miley Cyrus would completely transform herself into the rebellious rock star she knew she needed to become.
As for the media and general public, they had no idea the absolute media hurricane Miley Cyrus would bring over the world in the year of 2013. They would attempt to shame and tear Miley down at every turn.
But every controversial news segment only added to her new image. Now, instead of wearing a controversial shirt for small paparazzi publications to talk about and shame her for,
she was taking her shirt completely off and stepping onto the world stage. Miley is gearing up to drop her new album, Endless Summer Vacation. And what better way to listen than in a pair of Raycon earbuds? I have the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. They look, feel, and sound better than ever. Plus, they offer 8 hours of playtime and up to 32 hours of battery life. I have always struggled to find comfortable earbuds that don't fall out. Raycon's optimized gel tips always make for the perfect fit, and they seriously do not budge. Raycon offers a super sleek design that comes in multiple colorways, with premium sound and are even sweat and water resistant. My absolute favorite feature is awareness mode. I can walk to go grab a coffee listening to Flowers by Miley, and I can still hear what is going on around me. Or I can easily toggle to noise isolation to block out the world and be fully immersed into my music when working out. It's no wonder why Raycon's Everyday Earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. Plus, they are priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. So don't forget to click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/deep dive to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to diving into the iconic era that is Bangerz.
At what point in your life you went from this Disney, because I have a fixation with
He doesn't stop talking about
like
this.
the whole progress from Disney, this pristine thing, to this ratchet twerk queen. Like,
oh my God.
I love it. I celebrate it. I talk about it. Where did this happen, and where were you like, yo, listen, this is who I am. I'm the twerk queen.
I did the smart thing, which was instead of like working and going directly from being on a show to just like going right into work, I just had 2 years of just hanging out where I was like, you know what? I worked really hard. I'm going to buy a dope house and do whatever I want in it and become whoever I'm supposed to be within these next 2 years and just like up as much as I want. Love being on the show, right? As much as I want, because if you're by yourself and you're not, it's not like I was going out and I wasn't like, that's why I never really, I don't think I like felt like that was just because I was like always protected by myself. So I was really lucky that I grew up like that so I could take myself away and just like become who I was and then come out and almost start as a new artist. That's what I kept telling people is with Can't Stop in the video and everything, I wanted it to be different because I want it almost, for me, it's like it's starting from like the bottom.
You killed Hannah Montana.
I don't want to say that.
Miley Cyrus's life for the past 2 years had been chocked full of non-stop swirling chaos. She had attempted to shatter her Disney image within the Disney Channel machine, a la her album with Disney's record label Hollywood Records. However, Can't Be Tamed was sabotaged by Disney, and the rollout was tainted. Thus, Miley would briefly focus her career on movies and film, filming LOL and So Undercover, as well as lending her voice to the new upcoming Sony animation film Hotel Transylvania. However, as Miley was gearing up to complete her film obligation with Hotel Transylvania, she posted a photo of a cake she got for Liam Hemsworth. While this did derail her plans of developing her career as an actress, it was the true catalyst to Miley Cyrus's 4th studio album. Long gone were the days of singing about being a robot and being controlled. Miley was finally letting go and introducing the world to who she truly was. Miley saying, quote, "Right now when people go to iTunes and listen to my old music, it's so irritating to me. Because I just can't erase that stuff and start over." She said, "My last record I feel so disconnected from. I was 16 or 17 when I made it. And when you're in your 20s, you just don't really know that person anymore. I want to start as a new artist. I consider my upcoming album my first, really. I'm 20 years old and I want to talk to the people who are up all night with their friends. It's based on a true story of a crazy night I had. When I heard the song for the first time, it captured exactly what I was living. I want my record to be the biggest record in the world. And I've given everything to get here, even down to friends and family and relationships. I've just put this music first." She said, "That's been kind of a trip. It's not like I'm losing who I am. I actually found out more about who I am by making this music. I'm going on a journey, and that's more than a lot of 20-year-olds can say. And I'm still going to change so much because I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago. I'm not even the same person I was 2 weeks ago." And with that split, a new Bangerz alter ego would form, and Miley would head straight to the studio. This new, then untitled, upcoming album was Miley's first album outside of the Disney Channel. No more control from the children's channel that had owned her for so many years. This was Miley's first vision, and it would be outlandish to say the least.
A Nicki Minaj and Miley Cyrus collaboration is coming your way. The gals hit up the recording studio together. We'll prove it. He Instagrammed this picture of himself in the studio with Miley and Nicki by his side. So it's been reported that Miley's working with Wiz Khalifa, Pharrell, and Tyler, the Creator, on her new album, Danger Zone. Danger Zone will be Miley's first music since her 2010 album, Can't Be Tamed.
And she certainly can't.
A 19-year-old Miley Cyrus was engaged to a 22-year-old Liam Hemsworth, and their relationship seemed to rely on Miley portraying a very specific image of herself.
This was the very first time you voted, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I was really excited, actually.
You should be.
I was. At first, when I was getting ready, I was like walking out of the house and I had on like American flag shorts and all this stuff. And Liam was like, "That's a bit much for the polls."
Right.
I'm like, "But come on, it's like a fun day." So instead, I just like got my fun sticker, kept it Obama small, and just it was great.
Yeah.
So.
Now, like Britney Spears in 2007, Miley Cyrus was officially a free agent, with little to no management and no record contract. But before she would hire ruthless managers who would run her ragged on press tours and attempt to derail her concept, she would work on the album with a then up-and-coming producer by the name of Michael Len Williams II, or professionally known as Mike Will Made It. Now, Mike Will is a prodigy whose beats found his way into the hands of Gucci Mane when he was only 16 years old. Mike Will was already established within the hip-hop scene, with tracks featuring vocals from Rihanna, Kanye West, and B.O.B. Not to mention he is responsible for most of Race Remord's smash hits from the early 2010s. Thus, when Miley Cyrus met Mike Will, Pharrell, he was on fire in the hip-hop scene.
Everyone had their idea of what they thought I should be doing, who I should be working with. I've made a lot of my record with Mike Will. I had known about him because I listened to a lot of hip-hop. And I fell in love with his beats, and I loved the fact of how young he was and that no pop chicks were really messing with him like that. I got in the studio, we did Can't Stop the first day, and we were just in the room like bouncing off these ideas, kind of like singing with each other. And then the connection just started. And then it kept getting crazier and better. People change, like you just never know who you're gonna be. 5 years ago, I definitely would have said, oh, I was like a little punky teenager. Oh, I wanna make rock music, and that's what I thought I was gonna do. I thought I was gonna come out and be some kind of like a Paramore, like get in a band. Like that's what I really thought I was gonna end up doing.
Mike Will would prove to be just what Miley Cyrus needed to send her music over the edge and create an entirely new sound. But Miley's musical transformation wouldn't stop there. Miley would enlist the help of her newfound close friend and visionary, Pharrell Williams. Now, I could literally go on and on about how much I love Pharrell and how literally every song I listen to is written or produced by him, but I'll keep it short. Pharrell has a completely unique take on song composition and production, often layering hundreds of layers of an artist's voice into just one smash hit single, working with vocal masters such as Beyonce and Ariana Grande, and turning their amazing voices into Dolby Atmos gold. Miley's work with Pharrell would be no different. As Miley wrote Bangerz, the most talented producers and sound engineers on the planet would come together to create a genre-defying album that would not only put Miley on the map, but make an even bigger splash than Hannah Montana ever could. Miley had the album that she wanted made up entirely of lo-fi beats with her vocals and piano ballads.
Dancing and we're playing around, you know you've got me. And then a feeling comes raining down all over my body. It tingles here, it tingles there, ooh, it tingles everywhere. That's why I've never found the way to describe it.
And the producers she would bring them to would transform them into chart-topping EDM hits. Miley would work with disgraced hitmaker Dr. Luke, who turned Wrecking Ball from a solo piano ballad to an EDM pop synth power ballad. Along with Pharrell, she would work with Hit Boy and The Interns, who are quoted saying, "Her voice is totally different from the Party in the USA thing. There's way more country influence. There's definitely a lot of hip hop at the heart of it. Her project is definitely a melting pot of all the stuff she likes." Now was the time to choose a record label, and Miley could negotiate with almost anyone she wanted. She had already shaven her head and had done a press tour promoting her appearance on 2.5 Men. The world may have seen the new Miley, but they were begging to hear the new Miley. Thus, Miley would sign onto RCA Records for her new album. And 1 month later, Miley Cyrus would make a decision that would disrupt the entire music industry as a whole. Miley would sign with none other than Britney Spears' infamous manager, Larry Rudolph. Now, as a little girl, Miley Cyrus's role model growing up was Britney Spears. Everything from her rock star approach to music to her controversial performances on MTV. Miley has always been inspired by Britney as a performer. So without a doubt, when choosing the path she wanted her career to go down, she knew she wanted her legacy to be remembered in the pop history books. And with a roster like Miley's favorite pop star Britney Spears, Larry Rudolph seemed to be Miley's obvious choice. Now, between Adam Lieber and Larry Rudolph, they would collaborate with Miley and her mother to bring the world of Bangerz to life. Now, Miley knew Larry Rudolph's plan for her career was the ticket out of the Disney hellhole she'd been sucked into for so long. However, it's unknown whether Miley knew how much non-stop work being a client of Maverick Management would entail. Now, Miley would only work with Larry for a couple years, but those years would have a long-lasting impact on her career and would be her most jam-packed years to date. This can be attributed to Larry's aggressive management approach. If Miley expressed that she was tired, sick, or needed a break, she was met with a quippy lyric from her new single, "Can't Stop, Won't Stop," right, Miley? This would be the soundtrack to Miley Cyrus's time with Maverick Management. Larry Rudolph would bring his client will.i.am to the Bangerz production team. In 2013, Larry Rudolph would also bring will.i.am to Britney's now infamous lowest performing album ever, Britney Jean. However, Bangerz was no Britney Jean, as will.i.am would capture the flavor of Scream and Shout and bring it directly to Miley's doorstep. Now, Miley would completely immerse herself in the hip-hop music scene, recording songs with the likes of Future, Kanye West, and French Montana. She would even feature on will.i.am's album #Willpower twice, the first one titled Falling Down, and the second feature on the hit Feelin' Myself with French Montana, Wiz Khalifa, and DJ Mustard.
One day I'm in the studio, and then the whispers are, Miley Cyrus is in the back. So Miley is always cool to hang out with because she has a great entourage. So I'm like, yo, what's up, Miley? It's always like, yo, what's up, Miley? It's like, you feel like you're at home when you're hanging out with Miley. Dr. Luke's playing some stuff. I'm like, yo, what is that? And he doesn't say anything. He's just like, yo, listen to this song. I'm like, yo, who is this? So I'm like, yo, who is this? Because this is my new favorite stuff. He was like, that's Miley's new stuff. I'm like, are you serious? Yo, let me tell you, like, this new Miley stuff, she has redefined everything that you thought Miley Cyrus was, but not just on some rebel stuff, on some like, yo, this is some amazing incredibleness.
All I do is focus on my music. The only place I ever am is at the studio. I mean, it's literally like my friends, my relationships, like with everyone around me has honestly changed since I've been working on my record because it's the only thing that I've wanted to give 120% to. And I think it's like the only time in my life that I've pushed everything aside, everyone aside, anything that, you know, really mattered and just became about the music. So he's so close with my team and especially like with Brittany and with Justin and everything. I mean, it's a great, you know, kind of group to be with. So it's great.
This was only a small taste at what was to come, as Miley seemingly featured on every rap album that came across her path. But nothing would compare to the pop history that was being made on Miley's own record behind the scenes. After hearing Miley's new single, We Can't Stop, none other than the princess of pop herself, Britney Spears, expressed to her manager, Larry Rudolph, that she wanted to work with Miley. Miley received a call from none other than Britney Spears, who had heard Miley's new song and seen her shocking new look.
So excited that you're excited.
Yeah, this is awesome. The song is great. So.
Thank you. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Our video ideas.
Oh, cool.
Gonna be out of here.
Now, this would result in a collaboration with Britney Spears that would set Bangerz apart from any other album, and one of the only songs she's ever released on another artist's album. Producer Sean Garrett would tease the upcoming single SMS Bangerz to a legion of smilers, saying,
I'm working on Miley Cyrus album. Very excited about that. Working on, we got a big record on Miley Cyrus too, with featuring
It's Britney, bitch.
will.i.am and Britney.
Now, Bangerz came during a renaissance of music videos in 2013, with artists like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, and even Katy Perry pushing the envelope for visuals. Miley knew it was time to carve out her own lane, so she did just that. Now, in the middle of the creation of this album, Miley Cyrus would record a music video for a song her and Mike Will Made It created during their initial sessions together, titled We Can't Stop. The vision for this video would completely transform Miley's image head to toe and would influence the direction of the album as a whole. See, Miley had the album done early and even promised her fans she would release it sooner than she was able to. The reason? Unlike her other albums, Miley stayed in the studio with Bangerz for months, perfecting every last detail and ordering the songs exactly how she wanted. So after the release of We Can't Stop, the entire direction for the album morphed into the aesthetic of that video and song, which were centered around a house party. But this wouldn't be any old house party, as We Can't Stop would be the first release of many that would have Miley Cyrus's fans' jaws on the floor.
Okay, so we're about to do it. The world premiere, your new single, We Can't Stop. You recorded the song a year ago.
My heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute.
And you said that you made this one for your fans. So what's the story behind that?
I did. I just think my fans, you know, everyone always judges, they say what they want, but my fans have always, there's this group that's kind of really stood by me, and no matter what I've been through, and they're all just trying to live and love and have fun.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Do I get to push this bad boy?
Yeah, she's got the green button.
All right, ready? We Can't Stop. Here it goes.
On June 19th, 2013, Miley would drop the music video for We Can't Stop and would completely shock the world. Despite Miley leaving Disney 2 years prior at 18 years old, a huge portion of the public still viewed Miley as that child who played Hannah Montana. Wanting Miley to be that Disney role model even as an adult led to Miley being hyper scrutinized at every turn.
I have such mixed feelings about it. I'm happy that she's being herself, but I'm not happy with how young people will probably be affected by her being herself.
Makes me sad, because like that was Hannah Montana.
They just look like a bunch of and I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh my God, Miley, I get it. You're growing up, but you don't have to do this.
I'm not gonna do Hannah Montana, but I can give you an update on what she's been up to. She was murdered.
So when the music video for We Can't Stop dropped, the media was in a total frenzy, stating that Miley was raunchy, out of control, and desperately attempting to, quote, twerk off the Disney chains that bound her. But despite the media scrutiny, the We Can't Stop music video was breaking records, getting 10.7 million views in just the first 24 hours. Faster than any other Vivo video at the time. And the video reached 100 million views in the first 37 days, becoming the fastest music video to attain Vivo certification.
Well, you certainly have amped it up. Within the first 24 hours, something like 10.7 million. You bet Justin Bieber is the most watched within 24 hours.
Yeah, I beat the record. That feels good.
That feels good. Is it anything to say to Justin Bieber? I mean, he's kind of, you know, the man at the moment, but you just bet him.
Actions speak louder than words. So, yeah, I was stoked because that was the first time that I had really had to have people like trust my vision and just say, you know, I know you guys may not get it, like on paper this isn't making any sense, and it kind of just had to be like a leap of faith, just know that it was going to come out right, because it's something you just have to hope that everyone really shows up and kind of has fun. You can't really like plan it, just like a good party. You know, it doesn't really matter where you are, it can go either way, it's just about the people you're around, so it had to be right,
Well, it's perfect. It's not even out that long, it's already been nominated for 3 Video Music Awards, the MTV Video Music Awards. That's a pretty big honor.
The song soared to the #2 spot on the Billboard Hot 100, right behind Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. Miley's plan to surprise the world and get them buzzing about her new music was working perfectly. But it was just the beginning. Miley was gearing up for a live performance at the MTV Video Music Awards that would stir up more controversy than ever before.
But the VMAs coming up, like what you do with Madonna, that was like who you grew up kind of like looking at.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you kind of been to like my whole generation.
The VMAs are always like the best. They're so exciting because it's so raw. Performing with Madonna was like, it's Madonna, so it was just kind of crazy.
For me, that's when I got into music. I want to give people that again, and just like videos that are like out of control that people can't believe, and performances that you can't believe. Like my dad, I remember when the Slave For You video came out, he shook his head and was like, my 8-year-old's gonna turn into a stripper. I'm scared. Because it was like, I wanted to be hot like Britney, and that's still what like girls want to do in the pop industry. Everyone takes the VMA so serious, and I just want to come out and like shoot a hot dog gun. I just want to have fun. It should be fun.
It'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
you're not gonna be topless on stage in the video.
I tried to go there, but I don't think MTV's gonna allow it. I'm like, what about nude latex? So like, I don't know. Everything's just about what's gonna be the biggest moment in like pop culture. You get on stage and you do what feels natural when you're on stage because that energy is so strong. That's what Britney holds so much. She's got so many of those moments that people will never forget. It's about living and being in that moment, and that's really what Can't Stop represents, even when we do it live. I got a teddy bear costume. I'm very excited.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like the whole thing be a teddy bear and like get a bunch of small people to all have teddy bears.
Let's reset. We'll go once more. Here we go. Taking it from the top.
I was inspired by the twerking teddy bears in my music video, and by LA Bakers who danced with me, and my friend Amazon Ashley who was in the video. It was really important for me to bring that fun and that energy onto stage. You can watch that performance from the VMAs and people could think it was just like a hot mess, but it's a strategic hot mess.
I was just walking the timing, man. Okay, no problem.
Right now I'm in a point in my career where I can just be exactly who I want to be. I just want to like have fun and not think about any kind of repercussion. Just go for what you want to do. That causes like a lot of reactions, but I think there's something about watching people grow up. People, like, you get a connection, they feel like they really know you. But also that's why people get really entitled, is because they also feel like most people don't have like their kid photos put up and then be like, she's changed.
Miley performed We Can't Stop, which of course caused a stir. But the performance of Blurred Lines with Robin Thicke got the world live tweeting like never before. 306,000 tweets were being sent out per minute about Miley and her VMA performance, breaking another record of most tweeted about event in the history of social network. The word twerk was tweeted out so much in relation to Miley that even the Oxford Dictionary Online officially put the word twerk in the dictionary.
As one word today is added to the English dictionary, I for one have no words. Yes, we've heard about the controversy about Miley Cyrus twerking at the VMAs, and now the folks over at the Oxford Dictionaries is going to be adding the verb twerk to the dictionary as part of its quarterly update. Now, speaking to the Associated Press, Oxford Dictionary's Catherine Connor Martin said that twerking has actually been around for over 2 decades. And while there are many theories about the origins of the word, quote, we may never know the answer for sure about the root of the word twerk.
The VMAs have hosted some of the most iconic moments in pop culture history, and Miley made her historic mark on the VMAs that night. But much like those iconic performances that came before, it doesn't come without extreme criticism. And this time, even the inventor of the giant foam finger had something to say.
Miley Cyrus was once idolized by millions of kids all across the country. Now she's become one of the most polarizing public figures in the country, especially after her outrageous and kind of downright raunchy performance at last night's MTV Video Music Awards.
Miley Cyrus left a lot of people shocked and awed after her sexually explicit romp on stage at the VMA Awards. And it looks like she had this planned all along.
She puts that foam finger in places that will shock you.
That was really, really disturbing.
I watched her performance last night with my hands over my eyes.
Was she that little girl on the show, that Disney show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you figured that out,
Hannah Montana, Bob. We
that
told you
was?
that yesterday.
She turned into that?
Yes, it's sad.
I don't feel sorry for Miley Cyrus because she knew what she was doing. This was all very calculated, and this is about Miley Cyrus distancing herself from Hannah Montana and Disney. She went up there were rehearsals, MTV knew what was happening, Robin Thicke knew what was happening, she had that finger and she knew what she was going to do with it.
Miley's not Hannah Montana anymore. She's a 20-year-old woman who wants to express herself as an artist, and I get that, but you also know a lot of people have hated what she did. They think it's outrageous. They want it to stay little sweet Hannah Montana. What do you say to those people who perhaps were huge fans of Hannah Montana and feel uncomfortable about the direction she's taken?
Well, that's what music is supposed to do, is make you feel. You know, that's what music is supposed to do. And you can either love it or hate it. That's everyone's right to do so, because it's art.
I just wonder what the dad in you feels, whether you can celebrate the glory of the pop moment, but also be a little bit like, blimey, my girl's grown up.
There she is. That's very accurate there. Then, you know, for me to think how hard she's worked to get to this point, and what a risk. Just the fact that she went and cut her hair off. That was huge. She could have stayed Hannah Montana forever and made a great living doing that, but she's more of an artist than that, and she wanted to evolve, and she had to take her time, let that evolution take place. And again, she's very, very smart, and she's had all of this thought out in advance.
I mean, she's been famous, but this is like a whole new level, isn't it?
It does seem like a whole new level, and yeah, she has been very famous, but she has risen to a whole new level, and I thought I'd seen it all until these last couple of weeks.
You know what her dad said? There should be more love and less hate. He's almost as adolescent as she is because he's calling critics haters. It's not hate to bemoan something that comes off as crass or tragic or gross. Right. It's common sense to speak up. And it's further proof that we have to stop railing against single-parent households and start going after double-parent households, because he failed.
Thank you for your efforts and for bringing the foam finger into our lives. You invented this thing back in 1971. You were a teenager at the time. It was for waving around at sporting events. So I must know, as the guy who put this thing on the planet, what went through your mind when you saw what Miley was doing with it on a national stage?
As I've stated, I thought it was degrading. Of course, a foam finger doesn't have feelings, so it doesn't know that. But just the whole concept was taken downhill a bit, and for for people that use it, in the next ball games that come up and it's out there in the stands, they're probably going to be using it in a different way now, or thinking about it certainly in a different way.
I'm thinking back, remember the Vanity Fair, Annie Leibovitz photo shoot where she was like half naked with her dad? You knew things were getting weird then, and
yeah, I watched the performance even before the racy performance when she was by herself. It was unwatchable. It was terrible. And I think this is what we call the hoochie card, right? When you can't rely on your talent and your gymnastic or your dance ability,
You better
play
take that
the hoochie
back.
card. I'm not going to take that back. And this is the dance routine version of what liberal feminists have been telling young girls to do in colleges across America. They say, dance, embrace your sexuality, lead with your have like a man. See how well it works, girls. Guys don't respect them.
It's not, somebody has to tell Miley Cyrus, it's not an achievement when people are looking at your 20-year-old body, because at 20, you were supposed to have a great body. It is not an achievement to be hot. So when you're walking around half naked, you aren't reinventing the wheel, you're only drooling on it. In 5 years, what Miley Cyrus did will be seen as quaint, because there's a 15-year-old right now who, at 20, will be doing live on the MTV Music Awards because simulation is so outdated.
Miley would respond in interviews to the vitriol being thrown her way. She pointed out the clear sexism. It was also Robin Thicke's performance, but he was getting almost no heat for it compared to Miley. Miley was being shamed left and right, but the man who was an equal participant escaped the media storm unscathed.
Now, I know a lot of you saw me perform recently at the VMAs, and in case anybody missed it, here is one of the more low-key moments. I got a lot of letters from angry mothers, turned on fathers, and this is true. I actually got a complaint from the inventor of the giant foam finger. But it's okay, I gave him tickets to tonight's show, so we're all good, right, Jeff? Now, I don't apologize for my VMA performance. If I owe anybody an apology, it's the people who make the bottom halves of shirts. Do you want to be naked? I don't always want to be naked. Once I came out on stage, and I came out, I was in a full Marc Jacobs dress, completely covered, and they wrote, Miley is boring. She doesn't get naked and she's boring. No matter what I do, I'm either boring or I'm a slut.
The one thing that I think that I'm surprised by, Robin Thicke was on stage as well.
Right.
And
no one talks about that.
Yeah,
no one cares about the man behind the booty.
Right.
You only care about the one.
A lot of people were disturbed by Miley's dance moves. Robin said everything was totally planned out. Yes, even those foam finger antics. Take a look.
We kind of knew when we were in rehearsal, and we were like, okay, if you touch me with your foam finger all over my crotch, obviously a few people are going to have something to say about this. But that was the whole point. I mean, the whole point was to excite and provoke and entertain.
However, news commentators wouldn't be the only ones criticizing Miley. Previous friends of Miley and other celebrities also let their opinion be known on how they felt about Miley's VMA performance, her new look, and music.
I was Hannah Montana's mother. I don't approve.
Hey, I was going to say, as Hannah Montana's mother, you're watching last night.
Where did I go wrong?
You think to yourself last night, wow.
What have I done?
Here you are with Hannah.
Yeah.
No.
Here's the thing, I feel like it's a bit desperate. I mean, Are you trying to be Gaga? But Gaga is, she's got a genius behind all of it.
Right.
It's not just display. I think that it's different.
You're 21, you grew up sort of in the Disney world. You've been on television, as we saw with Barney, since you were an itty-bitty girl. And I'm watching you mature, and I'm wondering about your thoughts on Miley Cyrus, because Miley, I think, is trying to evolve and become more sophisticated, and there is an awful lot of controversy surrounding her right now. And what are your thoughts about that?
I think she knows what she's doing. A lot of artists take that route of, shock value
and that's totally fine and that's great, but I think that she has such an incredible voice that's overshadowed by some of the things that she's doing, and that's, you know, it's her journey. She's having fun, she's being who she is, and we'll always love her. She's been one of my friends since I was like 14. But everyone's on their different journeys right now, and she's doing that, and she's having fun, so, you know, power to her.
I know that she's getting a lot of flack, you know, from a lot of parents and, you know, who knew her as Hannah Montana, and suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, this is just too much, pushing the envelope too much.
You know, like I said, she knows what she's doing. People are talking about her. People are talking about her VMAs performance, and now twerking, I think, is in the dictionary. So, you know what, she's a businesswoman after all, and that's what she's doing, and I think that the world kind of needs to get over the fact that she was Hannah Montana when she was 16 or whatever. You know, same thing with me. I guess my transition was a little easier because I went straight to rehab, but...
I wonder with, I don't know what you made of Miley's VMA performance.
She took a chance, so you've got to give her something for that. And I must say, in my other interviews, I haven't given her anything because I didn't like it. And I've said this and I believe this. If the chick had come out naked and done a great performance, doing the same things, I don't care. I would have said, you know, great. I'm behind you 100%. I don't like the fact that it wasn't good. You know? So if Madonna had come out and done that, she would have done it, you know? Yeah. You would have thought, it's on the borderline, but it's so great, who cares? And I don't think that that's what she did. You know, it's just, it's my professional opinion.
A few celebs were giving you stick on Twitter. Was there anyone who had a pop at you and you're like, oh, you bitch?
There was no one, because my whole thing is like, if you could have people talking about your performance for 3 weeks after you did it, you would. Yeah. But it's just, for me, that's what it was supposed to be about. It's not really about like the competition or what other people think. It's just really about going out there and expressing yourself as much as you can, and what you were like really celebrating your video. I mean, I thought it was dope when Gaga came out. It was such like a tribute to her video that's really what ours was really too. So I didn't really get how people were so surprised.
But she didn't say, it's weird, isn't it?
She was in a thong.
Yeah, she didn't get any stick. She didn't get any clothes off.
She didn't get in any trouble.
It was reported that Taylor Swift also commented on the performance, calling it grotesque and disgusting. Taylor's agent commented and said this was untrue, but it seemingly added fuel to the fire of a supposed years-long feud that appeared to be developing between Miley and Taylor. Miley would later comment on Taylor's Bad Blood music video, saying she didn't get the whole violence and revenge thing, questioning how that's considered a good example, but she is considered a bad role model for having her titties out, asking how titties are worse than guns. Taylor Swift's then very famous and talked about squad of friends were featured in the Bad Blood music video. Miley told the New York Times on the quote squad, "I'm not trying to be in the squad. None of my friends are famous, and not because of any other reason than I just like real people who are living real lives because I'm inspired by them." In 2019, Miley would seemingly poke fun at her old VMA performance and alleged feud with Taylor in a tweet saying, "It's Women's Day. To celebrate, will you top like Taylor or twerk like Miley? Please answer," with a gif of Miley from her VMA performance twerking on Taylor. Miley knew the VMAs would cause a media storm, and she brilliantly used it to drop her next single and music video, Wrecking Ball.
Miley Cyrus's, stop me if you've heard this before, shocking new video.
So racy, we're blaring it out.
I've talked to people close to the camp. Miley's the one who comes up with this stuff.
Leaving parents across the land struggling to explain it. No, you can't watch her new video.
The message that they're getting is that is what gets you attention, and that's not a message that young girls need to be having, and it's not a message that I want my daughter learning.
At this point, the entire world was rooting against Miley, and this next single was extremely high stakes, and Miley would achieve the impossible. Wrecking Ball soared to the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 after the music video dropped on September 9th, 2013. And within 24 hours, Wrecking Ball demolished and almost doubled Miley's previous Vivo record, gaining almost 20 million views in the first 24 hours. Miley Cyrus swinging on a Wrecking Ball naked definitely received backlash from the media, but because it was on the heels of the VMA performance, and news anchor Bangerz had just spent over a week criticizing Miley non-stop, the backlash and shaming seems to be finally calming down. But that didn't stop the media from talking about Miley. They just zeroed in on a new topic. Subsequently, the subject of Wrecking Ball, Liam Hemsworth.
I have to start off, of course, thanking my amazing fans, my smilers, for making this happen for me. My fam, my friends, my boo, everyone that's made this happen for me. This is so amazing. So thank you guys so much. Can't stop, won't stop, huh?
But it was a little bit funny because they didn't walk the carpet together. You didn't see them together at the show.
Right. But just a few days before, though, Bonnie, they both did go to the premiere of Liam's new movie, Paranoia. They walked the carpet together, although they didn't look that happy together on the carpet.
But that's the point. They didn't look happy. Our reporter, Russ Weekland, was on the red carpet. He saw them. He said it was so awkward. They barely touched. They didn't look at each other.
The fact that they're even going to events together and walking near each other to me is a really
near
big
each
step.
other.
And
I know, but these people are engaged.
I think that Miley
They're
was
supposed
too
to
busy
be
trying to keep her top on last night because she had on, okay, trendsetter, but like, I don't think so. She had this tiny little black bra top on, looked like a bathing suit. She had on, showing her stomach. I guess everybody wants to show their flat stomach.
Yes, gorgeous, toned, flat stomach.
Short little skirt. I thought it was way too risque for the Teen Choice Awards with all of her young fans.
Chloe, come on,
Took
are
the
you a
stage,
church lady?
she's twerking.
She looked adorable.
Miley Cyrus looked totally hot on the red carpet at the VMAs, but everybody was wondering, where was her fiance Liam Hemsworth? He didn't show up with her on the red carpet. Everybody's been wondering, are these two going to be getting married? Are they doing okay? Are they even together? And he wasn't there on one of the biggest nights of her career.
Rumors had been flying around for quite some time that Liam and Miley had broken off their engagement. Liam not being by Miley's side at the VMAs or any of her media engagements further solidified the rumors. Miley at first denied that her and her fiance had split.
I've got a really bomb fan base, and the smilers, they're the ones that are getting it to be 33 million views. And my whole thing is haters are gonna hate, but the haters are also gonna click on your YouTube video to watch it. So I don't really care. You helped me break the record, even if you were watching just to hate on me. And now I hold a record, so I win.
Though, because we saw a really sweet picture of you and Liam, and it's all will they, won't they, are they walking down the aisle? I see that. It probably will be soon. I see the ring on your finger. Are wedding bells in your future?
I'm wearing a ring, so.
However, quote, close sources were seemingly leaking that the rumors were in fact true and that Liam had been horrified by Miley's recent performances. Just days after the music video for Wrecking Ball was released, Miley unfollowed Liam on Twitter, and it was official. Miley and Liam's 4-year relationship was over. Well, for now anyways.
Liam was definitely not a fan of Miley's onstage antics at the Video Music Awards. In fact, the website goes as far as to say he's, quote, totally embarrassed by what she did. I hope this is not the case, but if it is, I can't say I'm that surprised. It was a little bit weird that her fiance was not there to support her on her big night. Plus, a few weeks back, he left the Teen Choice Awards early and skipped out on Miley's big win. A source tells Radar that Liam, quote, really does care about Miley, but he's pretty upset with the stunt she pulled over the weekend. The source went on to add, her racy new look and attitude isn't exactly what he signed up for. Her VMA performance absolutely mortified him, and he couldn't be more embarrassed. He doesn't really see anything sexy about what she did on stage.
After a rough few weeks, Miley Cyrus poured her heart out at the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas Saturday. The superstar choking up as she sang her hit Wrecking Ball. Her face mascara stained from tears. Cyrus's performance of the song about an anguished breakup comes just days after the singer announced her own split with fiancé Liam Hemsworth. After the song, she walked off stage, hugged her mom, and wiped her tears away.
Earlier this year, Miley called off her engagement with Hunger Games star Liam Hemsworth. You and your then fiancé, Liam Hemsworth, broke up this year, and you wrote about it in the song Drive. You sing, I was crazy thinking you were mine, it was all just a lie. What was the lie?
I don't think there was any lies. I was so scared of ever being alone. And I think conquering that fear this year was actually bigger than any other transition that I had this entire year. I don't ever want to have to need someone again where you feel like without them you can't be yourself.
But that's called being in love. That's called maybe wanting to be married to someone for the rest of your life. You don't want that?
I think I want that in the time that it needs to be. You know, I don't think I realized what 19 truly is, and I got engaged at 19, and I definitely wouldn't change being engaged. It was so fun wearing a fat rock for a few years, but now I just feel like I can actually be happy. I wait for those moments of silence when I'm just at my house by myself.
Despite going through a very public breakup, Miley kept pushing forward, and just 2 weeks later, Bangerz the album officially dropped, debuting it at the top of the Billboard charts, becoming Miley Cyrus's 5th #1 album and was certified triple platinum. Everything Miley had worked for in the last 2 years, creating this album and all the criticism she faced along the way, paid off. She successfully became the new artist she wanted to be, and this time it was all her. She didn't need the backing of Disney or a blonde wig. She could truly be herself on a stage, and her fans not only loved her, but loved that she was expressing her authentic self. As Miley said, she was worried that her fans wouldn't love her without the wig, and has even alluded to being scared to going on tour because she felt as though Hannah Montana was just a character, and all the live performances were staged in the show. However, Bangerz was a true breakout moment for Miley Cyrus, and the Bangerz album would solidify Miley Cyrus as a permanent fixture in the pop culture landscape. Now, it wouldn't be long before Miley found herself in another controversy during the Bangerz era, and it would take place on another MTV stage. Miley won Best Music Video for Wrecking Ball at the 2013 EMAs, which took place in Amsterdam.
Miley, Miley, Miley! Girls making headlines yet again after smoking a blunt on stage at the MTV EMAs.
You know, I couldn't fit this award in my bag, but I did find this. So, thank you guys very much. Good night, everybody. Thank you. EMAs, thank you for having me.
Miley Cyrus, MTV's official rule breaker.
It was now 2014, and Miley was gearing up for a massive world tour called the Bangerz Tour, and Miley would pull out all the stops for this tour. She would work with the best designers to create over-the-top props that would set her music and lyricism over the edge for her fans. Bangerz would truly be a non-stop party, and would break several records as Miley would tour across the US, bringing the tour to more fans than she ever had before. And every show would open up with a gigantic animatronic Miley Cyrus, where the real mini Miley Cyrus would slide out of her own tongue.
If you came here to have a good time, you came here to have a good time. Mike Will made it. One shot, two shot, three shot, four. We still wanna bring the pretty girls to the floor. Swag, drip, drop, getting Molly in here. Party turn up, long as Molly in here. All pretty girls wanna have fun. All pretty girls wanna have fun, yeah. If you came here to have a good time, if you came here to have a good time, turn up. If you came here to have a good time, if you came here to have a good time, pretty ladies. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the flyest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the flyest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the flyest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the flyest of them all?
Now, the Bangerz tour was long. Miley was on the road or on a plane doing show after show from February 2014 to October 2014. The tour grossed $62.9 million. But of course, since it was Bangerz era after all, it did not come without controversy.
Ruh-roh, it's Miley Cyrus catching some heat
for disrespecting a Selena Gomez cutout. Oh boy, Miley is at it again, but this time it's not for nakedness, drug use, or for spitting on smilers. This time it's for being rude to a Selena Gomez poster. When a fan from the audience apparently handed Miley a cardboard cutout of Selena Gomez, Miley, being her candid self, took the poster and held it up as she sang her song F You. Take a look. So not only is Miley getting heat for waving Selena's cutout while singing the lyrics, I don't really have much to say. I was over it the second that I saw her name. She's also getting a ton of slack for then throwing the poster back into the crowd with such anger. But was this due to a personal beef that Miley has with Selena, or is this just Miley being Miley? This footage seems to be rehashing all of those rumors.
However, Miley throwing a poster of Selena Gomez would be the most mild of the Bangerz tour controversy, as Miley was supposed to have a show in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, but the government commission actually banned the tour due to moral code, stating, quote, Cyrus undertakes acts that go against morals and customs, which are punishable by the Dominican law. The Dominican news went into more detail, stating that Miley Cyrus was accused of, quote, incitement to lesbian, the use of inappropriate objects in public, acts that offend personal safety, and violate the rights of children and adolescents. This would not be the only backlash Miley's show would receive. The tour was filmed in Barcelona and in Lisbon for DVD, plus a 2-hour TV concert special that would air on NBC over the 4th of July weekend. After the special aired, the outrage would commence, as the special was called graphic and disturbing. Many were upset that a, quote, lecherous Abraham Lincoln costumed performer would be aired on a Sunday over 4th of July weekend. The outrage was so strong that the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, had to investigate NBC to see if the program violated any decency laws after viewers sent in complaints. Now, nothing came in of this, as Miley's tour was mainly filled with double entendre, as this was 2013, 9 years before the WAP video would be released. And so Miley's theming with double entendre was very on theme for the time. What many perceived as highly offensive, the FCC would only read as tongue-in-cheek. Now, shortly after August 2014, Miley's Wrecking Ball would be nominated for Music Video of the Year at the MTV VMAs. Back to where the year's controversy started. Miley had been working with houseless youth and working on launching her own foundation, the Happy Hippie Foundation. Her date to the VMAs was Jessie, who she met at My Friend's Place, a charity in LA. Miley would win the VMA for Video of the Year, and would use that platform to give people a voice that she said didn't really have one.
Well, Miley Cyrus certainly knows how to raise eyebrows, and now she's using her star power to raise awareness. It began with a surprising and unconventional date to the 2014 VMAs.
And the winner, the VMA, goes to Miley Cyrus!
Thank you all. My name is Jesse, and I am accepting this award on behalf of the 1.6 million runaways and homeless youth in the United States who are starving, lost, and scared for their lives right now. I know this because I'm one of these people. Thank you. I've survived in shelters all over the city. I've cleaned your hotel rooms. I've been an extra in your movies. I've been an extra in your life. Though I may have been invisible to you on the streets, I have a lot of the same dreams that brought many of you here tonight. Los Angeles entertainment capital has the largest population of homeless youth in America. The music industry will make over $7 billion this year, and outside these doors are 54,000 human beings who have no place to call home. Yeah, thank you. If you want to make powerful change in the world right now, please join us and go to Miley's Facebook page. A dream you dream alone is only a dream, but a dream we dream together is reality. Thank you so much for your time.
And Miley Cyrus firmly established her role as advocate for homeless and LGBT youth.
I'm the one that can fix it, and I think I've been able to identify with it just because I've never thought of myself as I'm a girl and so I can't do this, or I can do this, or you've got to be a boy to do that. I've never thought about that. I feel completely like I'm not tied to a gender or to an age. I feel, you know, like an infinite cosmic thing, and that's what I want people to feel.
That feeling inspiring her to launch a foundation committed to helping homeless young people in the United States.
What's going on in here?
Tell me, the Happy Hippie Foundation. What is it?
When we started a year ago with Jesse. And we were focusing, you know, just on homeless youth in LA and different support groups in San Francisco and the Bay Area. And now we're going bigger and kind of wanting to take on America. And by the end of it, we're going to be taking on the world.
Because the homeless youth problem, much of it surrounds the LGBT community.
40% of homelessness is really focused on it because I think of the lack of acceptance and especially alienating people from society.
Now, Bangerz would be a twisting and winding roller coaster of non-stop chaos in Miley Cyrus's life and career. Her impact can still be seen to this day as she truly pushed the culture forward. And while Bangerz may have come out nearly 10 years ago, its critical acclaim would come years after its initial release. And while people would praise the album, it would become a cult classic and a genre that would rarely be explored ever again. While Can't Be Tamed may have represented how Miley Cyrus was feeling within the Disney Channel machine, Bangerz was her first true message to her fans after breaking out of the Disney Channel facade. Miley Cyrus would take everything to the extreme in the years of 2013 and 2014, but that's why she's allowed to operate as she does today. No matter what she releases, the backlash that she once faced in 2008 as a young child star, she would do everything in the book to shatter the label that Disney Channel had put billions of dollars to make. And Miley Cyrus would finally become her own artist.